Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you're well. And just realized that there we go. I'm going to share this on social media as I'm doing this. One moment, please. And then I'm going to put this on Facebook as well. Share there. And yeah, now there we are. All right. I was thinking, and I'll tell you what got me to thinking about what I'm talking to you about. There is a video I haven't put up yet of Oakland District 4 Councilor Shane Tao holding a rally over the weekend that consisted of union members gathering together to distribute house signs. And her challenger for the mayor's office, she's running for mayor, Seneca Scott, sent me a video of him basically heckling the effort, saying, "Where's everybody here?" And I hesitated to post it. I mean, he has the ability now to post on Z60 YouTube. I thought, well, you post, right? But then I thought about it. And I pondered the problem. And as I did, I came back to something that I can't get off my mind. We are now into the 8th year of the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District family of legislations, starting with SB 628 Beal in 2015, leading up to the latest one, which is AB 464 Mullen last year, and there may be another that I'm not aware of. I doubt it since then. But AB 464 Mullen is of particular interest because it was designed to allow tax increment financing revenue to be used to assist businesses that have not, small businesses specifically, that have not recovered from the pandemic. I want you to think about that the next time you hear about an Oakland small business closing. Doesn't matter if it's a restaurant or a hair salon or a hairdresser or a bike shop or a I said beauty salon another way, didn't I? Or a coffee shop or a cafe or a bar, you name it. Anytime you hear about Oakland business closing, I want you to think about what I just told you and then consider this. Oakland has never, not even once, employed any form of enhanced infrastructure financing district legislation to bear on a project. Now, before you say Howard Terminal, I would say they still haven't done that yet. Oakland is now, come October 19th, 3 years late in implementing any program around the Howard Terminal version of enhanced infrastructure financing district legislation called SB 293 Skinner. Okay? And yet you have these council members running for mayor. I'm not saying I'm not going to endorse any one of them, but I am telling the truth. These are not normal times. Nationwide, the labor force participation rate is said to be at 62%. When you start looking at it state to state, it's actually around 50%, with the rate being driven up by a few more heavily populated cities. What's the labor force participation rate? Very simple. The number of people actually getting work in the economy. Think about that when you think about the number of people you heard about getting laid off. Think about that when you hear that in Oakland, the ranks of the homeless have been rising and have risen something like 20% over the past 4 years. If I have that right. Whatever, the arrow's pointed north, not south. Think about that the next time you see someone on the street. Think about that the next time you hear about the hunger problem in Oakland. Think about that whenever you hear an elected official, be it Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf or any of the council members, say that they're going to Washington to raise money for infrastructure when they could simply do it at home through a simple change in direction of where property tax monies go to create billions of dollars of a pool of tax increment revenue to be used to help businesses and people in Oakland and within that infrastructure. Think about that when you hear the news that Councilmember Shang met with me privately on February 2nd to discuss enhanced infrastructure financing district legislation and how it should be used for 30 minutes, but didn't want anyone to know that she was having the meeting with me, as if I'm some sort of third rail. But she had no business, giving interviews to white media, even though I said, hey, I'd like to interview you, right? I said because I have talked about this legislation to anyone who wouldn't listen for the entire life of the legislation. There's only one person who's listened. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Oakland Athletics President Dave Cobble. He's the only person who's listened. I tried to get Councilmember Taylor to listen, and I counseled him regarding the revenue and how it's calculated, and then he went back and quoted what the Howard Terminal consultant, Century Urban, said. The same consultant that wrote that gone awful report I have never stopped criticizing. The same one. So here's a guy who's done tax increment financing calculations for 36 years, longer than Century Urban. He's going to quote Century Urban. Why? Because they are white and non-black? I mean, there is that question. Why would we have, and this gets to what I'm talking about with council members. Why would we have a council member, and now this one's about Lauren. I'm not done. And I like Lauren, okay? But again, we're in crisis. And so when we're in crisis, you look at what people should be doing as opposed to promoting themselves. And why would he not then insist, in the Howard Terminal example, that the city hire black consultants to work on Howard Terminal? Think about it. Now, here's a man who claims to champion black business. But his championing stops at Howard Terminal. Why? Why? Same with District 7 Councilmember Trevor Reed, whose father, Larry Reed, was known for supporting black small business. Why would she get into office in District 7 and then immediately start running for mayor? I have not seen any example of Councilmember Reed striking a victory for her residents, her suffering residents in District 7. I want you to think about what I'm saying to you and realize that somewhere in Oakland, someone is suffering. There are a lot of people suffering. They don't know where the next dollar is going to come from. Many of them are waiting on the city or programs like Keep Oakland Housed to get their money to them to make sure that their landlords are paid. Many of them have waited months. Why do we have this tableau where it seems Democrats running the city actually do so and cause the rank support to increase? Think about it. Am I saying run to the Republican Party? No, I'm not. I'm saying demand better and pick non-traditional candidates to run for office rather than giving an automatic pass to someone who's council member. Make the incumbents sing for their supper. And that brings me to Shang Tao. anyone will tell you that District 4, as Johanny Ramachandran told me on my show, has not recovered from the pandemic. And yet, Shang is running for mayor rather than re-election. The normal process, the normal idea is to say, re-elect me so I can finish the job of helping you, not put me in as mayor. She hasn't finished the job because we're in an extraordinarily bad situation. So if she hasn't done better for the residents of District 4 in an extraordinarily bad situation, how can she be expected to do better for the residents of the city of Oakland when the situation is still extraordinarily bad? It's a simple question. Oakland is so bad that these criticisms must be levied. The problem is that you have some people who don't want to level criticism. Maybe they feel like they're going to lose an opportunity. Maybe they feel like they just don't want to piss somebody off. Maybe they should consider that if the person really understood the gravity of their job, they wouldn't get pissed off. They would understand. They would listen and act. But that's not what's happening. I will tell you that when I was aide to Oakland Mayor Larry Harris, I got more done as his aide than a number of these council members have done in their positions. The power of the office is really the power of you. What you believe you can get done. And to that I say, you don't need to be mayor to make change. You can sit right there as council member or be a private citizen and be effective. You don't need to be mayor. So the question is, why are they running for mayor? The answer is obvious. Well, it's an opportunity. Okay, I get that. But it's still an extraordinarily bad situation. Extraordinarily bad. Okay? Extraordinarily bad. And so those that are holding office must go extra. They must sing for their supper. They must tell you why they are not part of the problem, because I can tell you that anyone holding office is part of the problem. It's shameful to see Oakland actually look worse and not better. And yet, literally every week, as we have bad news after bad news after bad news, they're running for mayor. What is that? What is that? Okay. There are a number of candidates out there who are non-traditional. You know who they are. You know who they are. Greg Hodge, for example. I'm not listing them in any particular order of favor. Seneca Scott, Alyssa Victory, Derek Sue, he gets his signatures in on Monday. They're giving him a little extended grace period there. Any candidate that managed to get their 100 signatures in and that they check out, they got to check out. Okay? We have 17 candidates. And the largest number of black candidates that has ever ran in the city's history. Why? There's another vlog. But again, and think about it, okay? Think about it. Think about it. Are all these black candidates running for office because the job market other places is that bad? We keep hearing the myth that the job market is great, but the reality is that only half of Americans are in the job market. Half, not everybody, half. If you take the official statistics at 62%, it's the lowest rate we've seen since 1977. But then if you start looking state by state again, you will find that the vast majority of states are near 50%, not 60. Coin flip. Every 1 out of 2 people is either in or out of the labor force. That's bad, folks. Think about that when you walk down the street and you see someone living out of their car. And all of this is fixable. Think about it when President Biden brags about not running a deficit at a time we need to deficit spend to get us out of this. He says, I don't want to pass this on to the people in the next generation. Well, guess what? The level of suffering now is so bad that the next generation is going to feel it in many different ways. Most notably, the deaths of those who are struggling because they feel like they can't get by, struggling because their health has been compromised by stress, struggling. And we're getting to that point where you call someone, like I called a friend of mine the other day, and she said in California, a lot of people are going through some kind of problem. I've never heard her say that before. Okay? So we have to stop kidding ourselves. And the council members that are watching this have to get their tail in line and really take seriously where we're at. They haven't implemented programs that demonstrably help thousands of people in Oakland in a hurry. And the city staff is stopping them from doing it. They need to hold a press conference on Zoom so that everybody can see it and make it known. But that's the other thing. Instead, they want to use a form of media that a lot of people don't watch anymore. A lot of people don't watch the Ks on television. Only their little group, okay? The majority of people watch phones. You have a gigantic number of Oaklanders who are part of the Oakland gang community, either as alumni or current. They have their own news distribution through Instagram and YouTube. You want to see what I'm talking about? Just type Oakland Gang Wars in YouTube. You'll see what I'm saying, okay? They have their own thoughts and ideas about what's happening. So, and then on top of all of this, we have sports. And what's going on is we're spiraling down to the point where people like Oakland District 3 Councilmember Carol Fife says that she doesn't have time to worry about sports or baseball. Well, get this. When she says that, she doesn't realize that professional sports is the city's best way to attract attention nationally and internationally, to get other people to come to its city to spend money. The money that helps it get out of its doldrums. And this is the other thing that Carol Fife doesn't recognize at all. A sports stadium has such a great and large assessed value that when it is finished, it's like a giant revenue tidal wave for a redevelopment project or for tax increment financing. Money that can be used to, that's right, finance programs to help small businesses in Oakland get out and recover from the pandemic via SB 293 Skinner, and then take part of that money that's produced at Howard Terminal and use it anywhere the Public Financing Authority designates. But guess what? We never even established. In 3 years that SB 293 Skinner has been active, the city of Oakland has done nothing to establish a Public Financing Authority. And do you realize that in the 8 years of the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District legislation programs, that while Oakland hasn't used it, Sacramento has, Riverside has actually used its variant called Community Reinvestment. Even Indian Basin has used it. There are 9 different California cities that are employed, and there should be more. There should be more. But the bottom line is there are cities, Sacramento, West Sacramento, that have flown right by Oakland. Right by. Sacramento's goes back to 2017. What were we doing? Nothing. Nothing. But I have called for this again and again and again and again and again and again. The only person to have listened to me and put thought into action was Oakland Athletics President Dave Covell, who partnered with Nancy Skinner to create SB 293 Skinner. That's ridiculous. So you're all going to put up with this? Don't. Make your council member and your mayor, because I understand that the mayor is considering running for, lieutenant governor. See, the problem that Libby has, God love her, is a number of Oakland Raider fans who will picket and blog and vlog and microblog against her because they're pissed off. That's a heck of a thing. Wow. Oakland can get its act together, but Oakland has to want to get its act together. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark OaklandNewsNowBlog.com. Share this around.